Good morning, Facebook. This is David Sweet, and I'm on my way in to finish up an estimate for a large expert witness claim we're working on. That's actually a marijuana grow house, and I thought I would make good use of my drive time this morning. I don't know if any of you have noticed this or read it. I know it's been going across the boards that I'm on, but Citizens' brand new, freshly minted $10,000 policy limit for any loss where you choose to use your choice of a water damage mitigation contractor as opposed to their unlimited coverage if you choose to use their managed care in-house vendor, to my knowledge, has been approved. I can't tell you what a monumental shift this is in the industry as a whole. And I know it's just Florida because we got lots of people in other places that listen, but it's not just in Florida. It's just in Florida today. It will be it'll be in your neighborhood in a year or two if this doesn't get taken care of here. There's a couple things that concern me on top of the fact that people should be able to choose who does their work, and it's a free market issue. Leading off the bat is by doing this, by limiting this, they've effectively made every single Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac mortgage policy out of compliance with the insurance requirements, because there has to be full coverage on all of these things. I don't know why nobody has thought that this may destabilize an entire mortgage market and all of the secondary markets where they take and pool these mortgage loans and sell them off. But as I understand it, that's a very real deal. Imagine what happens to a mortgage company when there's $20,000 or $30,000 of water damage and there's only $10,000 to cover it. Or with some of the other smaller takeout companies where there's only $3,000 limits. All of a sudden, you no longer have a mortgage that meets the criteria that the underwriters put in place when they sold the investment to the investors that actually purchased this. And for those of you who don't know, all these loans that are Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac conforming, they get put into a great big pool and they get sold off to investors who are counting on a particular risk and they get a particular return for it. The problem is that if 0.67%, which is I think was the last number I heard, of all properties have a water damage claim, and that water damage claim doesn't get taken care of completely, imagine what that does to the valuation of the underlying properties or the collateral. So now all of a sudden what you thought was a guaranteed no-risk issue is now anything besides a guaranteed no-risk return. They could get those properties back. And when they get those properties back, they're by definition going to, I think, get the worst of all the damage back. Most people will try and preserve their house if they can, but if there's a $3,000 limit and $40,000 or $50,000 worth of damage because they happen to, for example, be gone on vacation when it happened, well, who do you think is going to end up paying for that? That's going to go right straight back to the bank, and there'll either be some type of private mortgage insurance that pays for it, or the investors will pay for it. Regardless, it destabilizes that market as a whole, and this is a significant thing for folks. So, number one, be very concerned about the fact that this could have a reach into things that nobody had even thought about at this point, because I know mortgage companies typically don't care as long as they have someone sign off on the house that it's done, repaired, and someone goes and looks at it and it looks okay. As far as they're concerned, they're done, they're good. I think mortgage companies should probably begin to aggressively monitor what's being done on their properties, seeing as technically we don't own our houses, the mortgage company owns our houses. Terrifying thought, right? That'll send you off to work this morning and make you ready to go pay off your house so you don't owe anybody anything. The second concern that we end up with that $10,000 limit is that the vast majority of structures are currently not being dried. I know that may rub folks wrong, but after almost 22 years in the industry, and before that I was a general adjuster, I can tell you that I can't tell you how many times that I came on structures that were only partially dried. And the laws of physics work the way the laws of physics do. They don't care what an insurance company wants to pay or how long somebody thinks it should take to dry a structure. The laws of physics require it to take as long as the laws of physics require it to take. So, in the process of this, when you have people that are coming in, and the whole purpose of a preferred vendor network is to control costs. The only way to control costs over an independent, well, is to do less work than the independent does. And don't get me wrong, they also prevent their supposedly from being abuse of the policy as a whole, but I find that most companies don't abuse the policy as a whole. I find that the majority of the people just simply don't know what's really necessary on a loss. We'll have people all the time say, well, my preferred vendor says it should take 3 days or 4 days to dry a structure. And I'll pull up my moisture mapping on the project, which is taken with third-party remote sensors that I can't fidget with the numbers, and say, well, I know what they think, but can I show you what's actually happened? No, it's not dry, and it won't be dry for several more days. It's dry when the meters in the science says that it's dry. Well, more often than not, that kind of stuff and that kind of logic and reasoning will tip over to the contractor's not being honest with me and he's cooked the book somehow. And this is the prevailing thought within the industry, that it's a 3 or 4 day dry down. And this is put forward and promulgated by, well, lots of vendors that want to do work with insurance companies who want there to be 3 days or 4 days of drying, and that's that. The science is the science is the science. So, by giving the carriers the opportunity to push all of these people into their process, who watches these preferred vendors? Who makes sure that this work gets done? I'll tell you that 75% of my work last year and my revenue came from following up preferred vendors and people who half or partially dried structures. Not a month after they left, but 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and even I even actually had a wood floor that was still sopping wet, still growing mold 12 months after the prior loss. And they'd already taken it up twice and put it back down, and nobody wanted to dry the concrete, so it just kept rotting back off. So these are two really important things to remember when you look at this. It looks like a pro-consumer thing. It looks like they're trying to protect your money, that they're trying to keep the insurance market stable. The truth of the matter is that you have people that simply don't understand the process, relying on the opinion of people who are getting work from them, who are paid to say the process takes 3 or 4 days, so it produces the amount they want to pay. Not everybody's like that, but I'm sorry, the science is still the science at the end of the day. If you're not outraged by this, if you're not concerned, if you don't think it's not going to make it into your next insurance policy, you're wrong. In the state of Florida, they're already running to the Department of Insurance to file the very same amendments or endorsements into their policies, where they take away the coverage you have and limit you like this. And don't get me wrong, if people would do the job that they're supposed to do, if they document the way they're supposed to document, if they would truly return the insured to their pre-loss condition, I wouldn't be happy about it as a business person, but I wouldn't be furious about it as a homeowner and as a property owner. This is something that's got to be addressed, got to be changed, and there's absolutely no way that an insured's going to get a fair shake. The insurance companies aren't even set up to monitor the work that their preferred vendors do. So they have no idea whether or not it's anything besides compliant with their $3,000 limit on what they want to pay. This should terrify you, because it's coming to you, Florida and the rest of the country, and it desperately need to be stopped. I'd like to suggest that every single job should have an independent third party on the project, similar to the Restoration Industry Association's third party evaluator that doesn't have any skin in the game, that is simply a hired consultant to confirm that the structure has been dried properly, and it gives the ability for all parties to know that we only paid for what we should have paid. The equipment was there, was functional, and it did what it was supposed to do. The structure dried the way it was supposed to do, and I have back a safe, healthy, and habitable environment. And nobody should be able to take advantage of anybody on any side of this project. I know that you guys may have never heard about a third-party evaluator, but I think it's an idea whose time has come. And no, I'm not paid for doing this, although in fairness, I do provide those types of services to my clients. So, food for thought for your Monday. If you don't protect yourself, if you don't show up and challenge things that are not ethical, not honest, or that have an agenda that's other than what it seems like on the front, then unfortunately, sadly, you're going to deserve the outcome that you get. And I can promise you, making 3/4 of my business last year from fixing the end result of people not doing work properly, and then the fight that ensues from that over the coming 6 months to a year or more, you really want to get it done right the first time. Find a qualified contractor. Find somebody that's skilled. Find somebody that will document your loss the way they're supposed to. Let them do your work the way it needs to be done. Let science drive your project. And if at all possible and one's available in your market, find a third-party evaluator. You can go on RIA's site, or you can go to IICRC and start looking for people that have a combination of master-level certifications. All right, this is David Sweet. Have a great day, and we'll see you later.